كيف حال؟
ايه الحمد لله.
خير، كيف حالك؟
اهلا وسهلا.
انت مدخن؟
نعم مدخن.
تفضل.
احسن، شكرا.
ايش اسمك انت؟
عبد الله السالم.
عبد الله السالم؟
نعم.
وين نروح الحين؟
نروح جريد.
جريد؟
نعم.
وين جريد؟
جريد
قدامك؟
قدام على الصدر.
فهمت.
يس.
كم ساعة إلى جريد؟
باقي ساعة ونص بعد.
ساعة ونص؟
نعم.
شكرا. أشكرك جدا.
How far did he say?
A little over an hour.
Do you think they can wait that long for you, Charlie? Inshallah. Steve,
Yeah?
better tell the others.
Number one. This is number 2, over.
Roger, two, out.
They say a little over an hour, Mike.
They're not. يا ابوي كم ساعة من جريد فضلك. Tell them that they're مجنون. At least 2 hours.
Number 2, this is number 1, over.
Roger, number 1, out. Hey, Jeff,
What?
they say it's more like 2 hours and you're nuts. Over.
كل واحد, we're all nuts.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome aboard. I'm Tim, underwater cameraman by avocation, college student by trade. You're on your way to a desert island. There are lots more like it along the eastern coast of Saudi Arabia. But this one is special. Some people think it is the most important breeding center in the Gulf. In other words, a boss place for wildlife.
Pure wizardry. You know what you can do?
Alhamdulillah. هناك جزيرة جريد.
يلا.
spare-time naturalist with a long-time interest in the plants and animals of eastern Arabia. We hope our 4-day survey of wildlife on Juraid Island will provide a better understanding of the organization of nature on an island that's still almost untouched by man's influence. The pattern of life is like that of some other tropical islands found all the way from the Caribbean to the South Seas. Thousands of seabirds nest above the beach zone where the sea turtles come ashore at night to lay their eggs. Whole platoons of crabs forage above the waterline and build long ranks of sandcastles. Plant life is limited in variety, but marvelously adapted to the extremes of heat and absence of fresh water.
This is Jeff.
with a chore. To catch a bird for Dr. Alio, the neat gentleman with the instant laugh.
What are you doing today, Doctor?
Well, what we are trying to do is to find out if these birds have the same type of parasites as those in the rest of Arabia.
Dr. Alio works for Aramco's medical department as an epidemiologist. That is, he's interested in the things that cause epidemics, like snails do bilharzia, or whether these birds have parasites. They do.
My name is Hajar. I am a Saudi Arab. You won't see me much because I'm a cameraman. Just this shadow of me against the sunset sea on our first night of the strange island. The singing you hear comes from ships or the fishermen that take shelter here for the night.
The way to catch these birds is at night with a flashlight. They just sit there hypnotized and you pick them up. Well, you can't win them all.
My name is Steve. I suppose I'm the juvenile here. I thought I came along because I was recognized as the best snorkel on the beach. Not quite. I have some rent to pay for my scuba lessons. Charlie has a deal with the West Coast Aquarium for some kind of rare nocturnal snails. He's got some lights he built that will work underwater until the battery runs out. But that takes at least 3 hours, and all that time I sit here and put snails in bottles. They say lights attract sharks. Nothing ever happens here, but snails, snails, and more snails.
Jeff again, and I like my sleep. This is the day I do it. Ride the sea sled. This is a kind of underwater glider, and a new thing to me. Good to get on deck. It's a beautiful reef, and we're going to work it. I found the ideal spot.
Whatever you're thinking, don't say it.
Alhamdulillah.
This is Mike. We're called the Brothers of Kong, maybe from King Kong, I don't know. We're the non-organization that organized this trip. Our fathers worked for Aramco, that's the Arabian American Oil Company. We've been diving together in this Gulf since we were kids, so let's get wet.
harness comfortable?
Sort of. The hardware feels heavy.
We're not going to go deep today, so don't worry about decompression. But practice coming to the surface along with your smallest toe, and don't hold your breath ever with the lung on.
Got it.
And don't cock your spear gun until you're underwater.
Okay. Everywhere I went underseas, I saw Charlie with his basket.
I'm Charlie, and I'm collecting tiny marine specimens for some outfits in the States and in Arabia. There's so much stuff that I don't know which way to turn. This is a great reef, and I should have brought a steam shovel, not this puny basket.
Nowhere on Earth is there more life per square foot than around a coral reef. Lots of color and movement. And most of these reef people are just harmless and pretty. With a few villains, of course, stone and zebrafish, and for me especially jellyfish. But some have a finer side, like this big anemone sheltering pretty fish amongst its poisonous tentacles.
Fishing is a sport. To shoot a fish while you're wearing an aqualung is just slaughter. Unless you're hunting at great depths, let me show you. Well, there's the fish. Ready, aim, fire, fish, big deal. Anyway, it's a parrotfish. We do our fishing around here without a tank, free diving, skin diving. You have no gills, so the fish has a chance. He has a chance with a bella there, too, although it doesn't look like it, does it?
You know, I'm going to miss these guys, these sailors. They're really boss. They lead hard lives, and I mean really hard, but they seem to have a ball all the time. Look at Mubarak, listening to Charlie yak about his collection. Doesn't understand a word. And Jossam there, first mate, helping the ship's boy with the cooking. And just look at them eat. We hardly eat at all. Talk about drinking water by the gallon. 3 gallons a day for us. How do they do it? They pray 5 times a day, but they're certainly salty in between. Yes, I'm going to miss these Gulf guys when I can't come out here anymore.
So Charlie made some bombs out of this and that to stun the little creatures in the coral. A mass production. Tim placed it. And Jim started it with his hunting knife.
Yeah, we've got quite a few pretty interesting specimens here, like this little rockfish. When I got it, it started laying eggs in the jar, so consequently I've got all this stuff you see in the bottom are just eggs. And I've got this little sea anemone. It has poisonous tentacles. That's the way it obtains its food. It kills most of the fish that come into contact with them, all except for this guy. This is a clownfish, and it lives right in the tentacles of the sea anemone. That's how it gets its protection. Nothing else can get to it because it's died from the poison in the sea anemone's tentacles. Here's a piece of coral. The reason I took this is because it houses lots of very small organisms, and we can look into this and find out what kind of little guys are living out here.
What we wanted most of all was to bring some big sea turtles back alive. There were lots of turtle signs, but we didn't have much luck at first. I had the honor of catching the first one, but he was just a day old, and I thought I'd let him go off for a couple of 100 years and grow some. It takes about 60 days for these babies to hatch, and the minute they do, they make for the sea. But the birds are watching for them, so they hide out during the daylight hours. At night, they make a run for it. Along the beaches at night, big white crabs are waiting for them, crabs with claws like wire cutters. They have some turtle-hungry friends, too, king-sized hermit crabs who wear stolen snail shells. A few of the little turtles make it through the enemy lines and get to the sea. They have worse enemies waiting for them there. Nobody knows yet how many years it takes these little guys to gain 300 or 400 pounds. Turtles are shy. The males never come ashore again unless sick or injured. The females only to lay their eggs.
I sleep with a shovel. I like little turtles, and they cut it tough. So I go after the crabs. Each morning I dig up and throw water on the crab's castle so the birds can get them.
Now let's watch for the tracks of animals that were moving here last night.
But one day I saw it.
Of mice and lizards, but no snakes. Almost all of these low shrubs appear to be of one species of saltbush, probably Sueda. Oh, but this is Salsola berryosma, the only other species I've found here so far.
Mike's got a turtle.
Well, you really can't blame them. It's the first one they've seen.
Look at the size of her. You gotta be quiet, or you're out of luck. What a boss beast. This is Jeff on the graveyard shift. Everything seems to happen at night around here. There. We're safe home. You can go jump on her now. As soon as she begins to dig her big primary nest, she digs in about shell high. Look at those rear claws, just like hands digging the little nest for her eggs. Then she lays them. Lots of them, 80, maybe 100. Leather-like shells, just about the size of golf balls. People say the sea turtle weeps as she lays. She does. Real tears. It's good the shells are made of leathery skin with this kind of a burying process. She doesn't make much of a production out of filling her big crater. Just a few scoops and that's it. Then she begins her slow trip back to the sea. She just isn't built for land. The whole process takes about 3 hours. She rests a minute after about 30 seconds of crawling. She seems pretty much beat. She's off. Yet, she'll be back again in 13 days to do this same thing again. Maybe 7 times during the summer season.
It's easy to find turtle eggs.
مساء الخير يا أبوي.
مساء النور يا مايك.
كيف حالك زين؟
الحمد لله. وين نروح بالليل؟
نريد جرجور في الليل.
لا خطر. زين.
يا شيخ عندي صندوق كيج بوكس.
ما فهمت.
I can't blame you.
This is a shark cage. Not to put sharks in, but to put us in if sharks get too nosy. For we've crossed the reef into shark country and are going to try to build up a feeding chain. This might well bring us some unwelcome visitors.
Hey, how about the line?
Okay.
Hey, how about the line?
Just a cotton-picking minute.
This is Mike. I'm down here in this shark cage. The idea was to film a feed chain buildup. That is, little fish attracted by the light being eaten by bigger fish until Moby Dick comes along. My bodyguard's Jeff, but he left his harpoon behind and I haven't got a camera. Oh, I take it back. Here comes Tim now. This is all I can show you, I'm afraid. Little fish. Still in the cage, and we're cold, and we're not making any time at all here. We're on our 5th tank. It's getting light, and the fish are thinning out. Hey, Jarjul. Let's go. Hommy, tide's going out.
You know who's going to load those turtles.
I like to be needed.
This is Mandeville again. Well, I would certainly count this expedition a success. Not Charlie, though. I think he wanted a sample of every living thing in the Gulf. As it was, he did collect 80 specimens. We brought home 2 adult sea turtles and a dozen newly hatched babies, and they appear to be thriving in captivity. We identified most of the birds as terns, bridled, yellow-billed, and white-cheeked terns, or, if you wish, Sterni anathetus, bengalensis, and repressa.
They are tired, they sleep. Wallah, they are a little mad, but they are young and they are learning from us, from the sea, and in their faraway school. They are in the hands of Allah. May He give them many sons. The island too is in the hands of Allah, who decrees its changeless ways of life and death.